At this time of year, Dollar Tree usually sells all sorts of stuff for like picnicking and barbecue and outdoor dining stuff. So I grabbed this large oval plastic tray and I decided I wanted to try and turn it into some DIY wall art decor. So this is definitely going to be a do as I say, not as I do tutorial, and I'm going to show you the mistakes that I made so you can learn from my errors. Also, I only bought one tray, so I wasn't able to make a second video, so we're just rolling with it. So I initially thought, oh, I'm just going to do a little bit of spray primer and then use this stone texture spray paint on top of it to make a stone finish so it looks like a stone picture frame. That did not work as anticipated. As you can see here, this is after the first coat of spray primer, and it caused me all sorts of problems. You could still see some red poking through, so don't do this. So pretend that it's just like a plain, unpainted red tray you see here without spray primer, and you're just using some craft paper or wrapping paper or whatever to press onto the frame, crease it with your fingers, and then use craft scissors to cut it out. This is gonna protect that center part of that oval tray from your spray paint, and especially that stone texture spray paint that has that texture on it, which would then prevent you from laying a picture flat inside the oval tray. So I got that brown paper template cut out, and then I just used double-sided tape to put it in the center of the tray. And you'll see here in a bit, when I remove that paper, it's gonna take that spray primer with it, which was mistake number one here. But I just smoothed that paper right over the double-sided tape. And then I went out and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna add the stone texture spray paint on top of this. Well, the problem is the stone texture spray paint is not complete coverage. It's just the texture. So you can see here, some of that red is still poking through, and it's the white spray primer, which I was not happy with. So I went back and I just used some cream spray chalk paint that you see here, and I made sure I had complete coverage and all that red was covered. Then I went back and added the stone texture spray paint. So here's what the finished thing looks like, and you'll see here as I'm peeling off that brown craft paper, that double-sided tape is taking some of that spray primer with it. And then not all of my edges were exactly perfect, so I just used some plain chalk paint from my craft stash that was a similar color and just kind of touched up around the edges just to be super duper certain that none of that white spray primer or that red plastic poked through once I added my picture. And then I used the same brown paper template. I just peeled off that double-sided tape, and then I set it right on top of my picture. I ordered this picture from Etsy. I will link to it. And then I just had it printed at Walgreens, like 11 by 14 for a couple bucks. I caught a 50% discount code, so it wasn't that expensive. Just trace the whole thing with a Sharpie marker and then cut it out with scissors, and just be very careful as you're cutting it out that you trim away all that Sharpie marker. You don't want to leave any edges where people will be able to see Sharpie on the edge. And then I just tried to undo my mistake here with the spray primer, so I just used some packing tape to try to lift as much of that primer away so that I would be able to securely tape my picture down to the oval tray. And then once again, it was just more double-sided tape all the way around the edge of the oval and smoothed my picture right into place. And the end result is, I think, a really unique oval stone wall frame made out of a $1.25 plastic serving tray.